Is it worth it?
No, honestly, I don't think it is. Cause like all these like commitments and all that, like it's really tiring me out. It's really putting a strain on me, you know.
Got the juice, man. The juice, man.
When we were all in middle school, or maybe even high school freshmen, we all dreamed of playing basketball, baseball, or soccer. We wanted to wear our uniforms, bearing our school colors, name, and logo. We dreamed of being student athletes. Now I say dream because that's all we did. We didn't know if it would be a true dream or a nightmare. Sadly, for many kids, it's the latter. Unless we're talking about college-bound athletes who rely on their athletic ability to help earn a scholarship, or better yet, eventually play professionally, school athletics can be a huge obstacle for many students. With late-night practices, lots of motivation, lack of time, and accumulating fatigue, it's becoming the norm for kids to complain about the huge commitment school athletics are. Being a student athlete is tough, and many wonder if it's really worth it. Shujath Makim's story is a prime example of the struggle of a student athlete. Explain your daily schedule.
Okay, so during sports season, I'm ending at 5:30 or 6, right? And then I get home at 6 or 6:30 respectively. And then usually, like, hopefully I don't fall asleep, but I always tell myself that, and I always fall asleep. I'll fall asleep till 8, maybe 9, even 10. And then I'll have to eat, and I'll have to shower and all that. And then I have all, like, 5 AP classes, like, it's a struggle, but then, like, you know, doing all the homework, it could go on till like 12 or 2 a.m. and then I don't get enough sleep, and then, you know, the cycle repeats itself.
So it's like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Right. So would you like agree with like if I said if you hadn't been doing sports that you would be doing better in like grade wise in school?
Yeah, definitely. Because like after sports, you know, you don't have any energy, and you're just so busted that you don't really feel like doing much. So, and then you got homework right after that. So it's like, oh my God, you know, I think if it was just school solely, I think I would have been better.
Got you. This kind of daily struggle, unfortunately, is a commonality within student athletes. Practices and games can run very late and practically eat away at time that you would normally use to study, do homework, read, or even recuperate physically and take a well-deserved nap after a long 8 hours at school. Bryce Mandela, Drew Berwanger, Henry Kuziak, and Brian Yoon are, like Shujath, senior varsity athletes in their respective sports, and uncoincidentally, their schedules resemble Shujath's. Let's take a listen to what they have to say. Explain to me your daily schedule during sports season.
So right after practice or a match, I usually come home and it's around 6 to 6:30. And I still have all my chores that I have to do, and those can take up a long time, ranging from 6:45 to 7. And right after that, I'm the one who cooks dinner for my family, and that can take up a long time, for around 20 minutes, I'd say. And then after making dinner and eating it, it's around 7:40, somewhere around there, and I still have all my homework to do, and I'm in 4 AP classes, so it's really stressful. I have a lot of homework throughout the day. I have a lot of studying to do. And by the time I'm done, it's around like 11:30, maybe up to 12, and it's really late, and I'm always stressed out.
Would you say you'd be doing better in school if you hadn't done sports?
Yeah, for sure, because I definitely have more time to do my homework and then just relax or hang out with friends.
Explain your daily schedule during basketball season.
Today it's like 6 o'clock, about to go home, eat, shower, about to be 7:30. Probably nap, 9 o'clock. I don't know. That's about it. Same thing every day. So.
Do you think you have adequate time to like study or do homework during the season?
No, not at all. But you make it work. You rush through your studying. You rush through your homework.
If you hadn't been doing sports, would you be doing better in school?
100%. So much more time to do stuff. More time to go get help from teachers after school. You can study with friends who you can work around their schedule to study with them instead of having all these sports. Just so much more you can do for sure.
Would you be doing better in school if you hadn't been doing sports?
Well, I'm a 3-sport athlete, so I feel like a lot of my time is taken up after school from sports. So sometimes after school, when I do have a lot of homework and I have a lot of studying to do, I can't always fit it all in, but usually I'll find some way to cram it in, like in the morning or before class. But I'd say there was a few times where I wasn't able to get missing assignments in because I was so busy with sports.
Explain your daily schedule during soccer season.
During soccer season, so you go to school obviously, and then after school you normally have practice till around 5:36. It's more towards the 5:30 side, but after that you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, and then you try to get some homework done.
Would you be doing better in school if you hadn't had this athletic commitment?
Honestly, I think I would be doing better in school, cause I would have like a lot more time honestly to get all my homework done, and even to have a little more time to like just relax and procrastinate a little more. But just that extra time I feel will really help with getting some homework done, and I won't have to stay up as late as night.
By now, it's clear to see why so many student athletes complain about how much time they lack in a 24-hour day. Get home at around 6 or 7, be too tired to stay awake, and cram homework and studying until around midnight. This creates a terrible scenario in which student athletes, and I'd like to emphasize athletes, tend to get less sleep than the average high school student. And this can lead to a very, very big problem: injuries. I remember my sophomore year when I severely sprained my ankle. I was absolutely exhausted, and basketball practice that day was tough. At the time, I was attempting to block a shot from my teammate. When I landed, my ankle literally gave out from fatigue. It rolled over and I felt a sharp, gut-wrenching pain. In a few seconds, I will display a picture of my ankle at the time, so if you are squeamish, I suggest you turn away. Now luckily, I only missed about 2 weeks of athletic participation and I was able to attend school with the help of crutches. However, unfortunately, these two gentlemen were not as lucky as I was.
Alright, how did your injury affect your school and just life in general?
Well, I'd say it took a toll on my mental health because being out from the sport that I love playing really affected me, and it did take up a decent amount of my time because I would have to go to physical therapy for 1.5 to 2 hours a day. I'd say 4 times a week. So there was a point where there was a block in the road, but I was able to overcome it and realize, the bigger picture, to focus on school and, sports aren't everything.
How did your injury affect your school life?
It was a pretty bad injury, so it did take a big toll on me, as I did have to miss around 2 weeks of school, and that really made me fall behind in most of my classes. And trying to recover from that was difficult, but I did manage to do it. And it was just a lot more schoolwork, but in the long run, I didn't have like a gym class or anything, so I actually ended up getting some of those classes you need to graduate out of the way, which really helped. And then it also gave me more time after school. I wasn't able to do anything but sit there, so it really allowed me to focus up on my schoolwork, and actually it made me figure out that I should pay more attention during school and try and bust out some schoolwork a lot more.
Luckily, Drew and Bryce are both very hard workers, and they are both dedicated into putting their all into school, and they were eventually able to catch up and recover from their injuries. However, no one prefers to not only suffer through the physical pain and frustration that comes with physical injury, but also the mental breakdowns that come with it. Bryce and Drew both missed school, and it took a lot of effort for them to catch up with their studies, especially considering the difficulty of their classes. So kudos to them for that. So are you still considering becoming a student athlete? Are you a hopeful varsity star? A prodigy in the making? Are you willing to put in countless hours in the gym at the sacrifice of valuable time for other priorities? Then yeah, you should ignore literally everything I just said in the past 9 or so minutes, and you should pursue your dreams. No one's gonna stop you, including me. But if you get caught up in the immense time constraints, late restless nights, injuries, and possibly tanking grades, you can't say I didn't warn you. Being a high school athlete looks so appealing, but with all these circumstances to consider, it truly is a sacrifice in disguise.